Good afternoon to one and all present here. So myself, Achut Kain, and my co-authors Manoj as well as Anasha Guraj. I'm going to present a topic mainly based on microplastics in wastewater treatment, a keen concern for the Indian synapse. As we got to know the different microplastics that are emanating from the solid waste that are not dumped in a proper manner, instead of getting into the landfill, it is unauthorizedly dumped. In all these cases, there is a current lack of an research interest that is taking place, especially in India, where only the marine environment, as well as in the case of the freshwater ecosystems, that we can able to see that only 63%, whereas in 3% is only meant for the terrestrial, in that the wastewater treatment is almost in a negligible manner. So coming across for the next important thing is, sorry, it is what are the different exposure pathways in which if we need to see that the contaminants that are present, how it is getting to be transported. The modes are the different ways, either through the ingestion, inhalation, as well as the dermal contacts that is taking place mainly through the air, water, as well as through the soil medium. In India, almost 60% is getting recycled, whereas 40% of the plastics remains uncollected. Perhaps the introduction of the plastics has led to the usage almost from 16 to 20 kilograms per one person. Thereby, upon the effects of the humans, it is causing the different physiological conditions to be hampered up, either through the endocrine disruptions, or maybe related to the mutagenesis, or maybe related to the carcinogenic effects. These things are mainly happening due to the lack of the waste management, as well as the primary treatment activities are not in a proper manner. Out of the current aspects of the wastewater treatment plan given by the data by Central Pollution Control Board, wherein the aspect of 490 waste treatment plants have been designed for sequential batch reactor, and 321 for activated sludge process, and 76 for UASP. Out of the 1,321 type of the treatment plants that is available across the states, and 8 states are in non-compliance, they're not meeting up any of the standards also. So likewise, there are certain gaps that are to be existing in nature. One is to assist only for the limited based FTIR approaches, although it is taking place for the accurate determination of the microplastics, but robust type of the technology is required since our India is a developing country. Meanwhile, freight and transport of the contaminants are to be covered up, wherein there is a complex reaction as well as an interaction between the microorganisms as well as an invertebrate. Thereby, mass balance studies are also required for this. And one more important thing, due to the disposal in this condition, we can able to see that microplastics are also getting along through the stormwater drains in a combined sewage discharge systems, thereby getting the burden to the treatment plant. We go on to the next one. What about the life cycle assessment of the microplastics? Mainly, it is the biggest part of the challenge. Only the life cycle assessment is done for the polyethylene as well as PETs, and thereby it requires a more amount of the research related to the design as well as the global action, and especially related to extended producer responsibility as an inventory. Thereby, only few authors they have covered up for the usage of the alternative materials based upon the life cycle assessment. And in this manner, a stringent policy and implementation has to be recommended. That too by the plastic waste management from the India, that too from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Likewise, the extended producer responsibility has been headed up across in the last previous year, that is 2021, and integrated management of the plastic waste and the recycling is to be done. Moreover, the BIS, that is Bureau for the Indian Standards, has classified the usage of the microbeads to be unfavorable, and that is posing a risk as well as a danger for the consumer purpose. That too, especially for the personal care products that has began to ban, and effectively it is taking place from the 2020. And in 2022, from the July, it is set to be banning of the single usage of the plastics. So thereby, there is a requirement of the incineration technologies to reduce the amount of the microplastic content, and thereby the part of an innovation is also required in order to see that how we can able to reduce the amount of the microplastics considerations related to the wastewater treatment plant systems.
1 minute.
So,
1 minute left.
Yes, yes. Thereby, it is required that controlling the plastic pollutions, that too through the national, or maybe we call it as a multilateral environmental agency, it is required upon for getting up, dumping into the oceans, and then again getting in the form of the hydrological cycle repeated in the different areas, where in the remote areas also the microplastics have been found. So thereby, it is an alarming situations for the developing nations, and the treatment facilities as well as then efficient updations of the treatment units are to be given up, along with the skilled labor that too can able to handle even the sludge as well as the different set of the microplastics that is coming across in the wastewater treatment. So I would like to thank each of you as well as even the organizers for giving me an opportunity to present the Indian scenario considerations related to the microplastics in wastewater treatment. Thank you. One